Hi, Miss Castro. It's so nice to meet you. I am Dayanara Flores, and I am Samantha's first grade teacher for this school year. It is so nice to meet you. I'm so excited to be teaching your daughter this school year, and I cannot wait to see how much she grows. So, to start off this school year, I just want to start off, well, not the school year, but this meeting, with just a couple of questions, just so that I can wrap my head around her home life, and so that can give me a better scope into how I can adjust how I teach her here at school. Okay, perfect. So I wanted to ask, her language is Spanish, correct? Okay, awesome. I did ask her, because I know that she's EL, I always ask my students what the other language is, because I have a couple of Arabic speaking students, and some Spanish as well. So just wanted to confirm that with you. Secondly, I wanted to ask, what is the primarily spoken language at home? Yes, okay, so it is Spanish. Okay, awesome. So I will make sure to write that down. Awesome. Okay, and I want to also ask, does Samantha have any other siblings, maybe older, younger? Okay, so she has both older and younger. Do they also primarily speak Spanish, would you say? They do. Okay, so you'd say that amongst her siblings at home, she is mainly conversing in Spanish back and forth, like during playtime, during dinner, watching TV. Okay. And speaking of TV, I did want to ask, do y'all tend to watch shows or TV or the news through media outlets that produce Spanish content, or in Spanish or in English? Primarily in Spanish. Okay. So you'd say that anytime Samantha is at home, she's fully immersed in the Spanish language. Got it. Okay, perfect. Okay, awesome. All right, and then I also want to ask, it's still on topic, but it's a little different than my first questions. But I want to ask, anytime maybe your family's been out in public, or you get documents that are only in English, who normally translates those type of papers or translates those things in public from English to Spanish? Okay, so her older siblings. Okay, because she's not fully versed in reading yet. Okay, got it. But from the evaluations I've done so far, she fully understands English. Not fully, but very much high functioning when it comes to understanding what I'm saying as of the first 2 weeks of school, so that's awesome. Okay, and yeah, also just a little heads up, all the questions that I'm asking you are questions that are on your student survey, which are all provided in the binder that you're going to be taking home with you today. All of the information in this binder is in English and Spanish, so if there's anything you don't recognize or anything that you have any questions about, please feel free to contact me and ask me any questions. I am happy to help. And yes, all right, moving on with our meeting. In this binder, you'll find a couple of key paperwork and key information that is crucial to me teaching Samantha for the school year. So one of the papers you'll find is a home language survey. I just asked you a couple of those questions just so that I could get a direct, just so I could directly write it down right now. But on this home language survey, it definitely goes a lot more in depth than just the basis questions that I asked right now. So I will ask you to fill that out, if you will. I will ask for these papers by the end of not the end of this week, but maybe the end of next week, so that I can start adjusting my lesson plans to the information that you give me. Awesome. And then something else I also wanted to cover during this meeting was discussing how Samantha's been doing so far, right? So When it comes to reading, I have some samples of her spelling checks that we've done. So here is the first one. Okay, here is the first one. Here's a copy right here that is coming from your thing, but due to technical purposes, I'm going to be pulling up a photo on my iPad so that I can circle things for you and underline, and so that you know exactly what I'm pointing out. All right, so from the very front, she did get 2, 4, and 5 wrong. This is where we are focusing on CVC words, which means they are 3-letter words and all those letters have clear sounds. So for example, number 1 was dot. So in class, we commonly break these CVC words by chopping them. So at home, if you do want to practice with her, you can practice by chopping them up like this. So for example, dot would be d-a-t, dot. She didn't have a problem with that. So she did get that right. You see the check. I was like, but on 2, I don't think that she, it was bar, B-A-R, bar, like a bar of soap. And she put that as bore. So, because she used an O instead of a, I'll zoom in on that and I'll circle it. She used an O instead of an A, and that's why that one was counted off. But again, the A and the O do commonly get confused, so that is something that can easily be practiced. And then on 3, she did get 3 right because I understand that she was writing sob, but she did write the S backwards, which is where I made the correction up here and corrected that portion, and we'll get more into her writing some letters in reverse and how we can practice that at home a little later. And then 4 and 5, she did spell these wrong again. The O's, so the O's and the U's, the word was mud, but she put mod. These are commonly mixed, just like the A and the O. Mod, mud, and mod, very similar. But she's doing fine. Her even knowing the M and the D are really good signs, because that means she understands the chopping of them and the assembling them together. So that's really good. And then on 5, she put faux instead of fog, which is okay. The Y or foy instead of fog, but again, common mistakes, and she's gonna get better. I have no doubt. She is doing well with her punctuation. I'll show you in the sentence below. Her punctuation is awesome. And then in her sentences, she is missing her capitalization. Still practicing these skills, so I didn't expect everyone to get a perfect score. So that's awesome. But I do want to move on to math. So on math, this is where I wanted to discuss the reverse letters and numbers. So on this one, this was a check for understanding. Write a numeral in the box, represent the quantity in the 10 frame. So she was supposed to write numerals and then write the quantity of them in that box. For this one, I mainly just want to point out, which was the other one? Oh, this one. This was a 6 and this was a 5, but she wrote the 5 backwards, and then on the 6, she also wrote it backwards. So these are things that are commonly mixed up because kids tend to find 5s easier to write when they can see them. Because when you write a 5 like this, you have to, I don't really know how to do it, but yeah, you have to write it like that. And when kids write it the right way, sometimes they feel like they can't see the numbers. So that's something that's commonly a mistake, but it can be fixed, and we are going to be working on it through the school year, and I think she's doing awesome. So some things I did want to mention to you would be practicing writing at home, and making sure to fix those common mistakes like writing her numbers and letters backwards. And then when it comes to ELAR, when it comes to CVC words, because that's really what we're focusing on, to hone in on them knowing all of the letter sounds and all of the alphabet, because that's the foundation of learning harder skills later on. is just chopping up those words. In your folder today, or in your binder today, I gave you a list of all of our CVC words. So that'll give y'all a chance to practice at home, practice your chopping, and then there's also a section later, like at the very bottom of the list, that has a couple of harder words, more challenging, still not CVC, but all the letters in those words are match with the letter sound. So for example, one of the words is slug. So slug is S-L-U-G, so it's S-L-U-G, slug. Awesome. And yes, if you have any questions at all, please feel free to contact me. And this was a lovely meeting. I loved getting to know you and more about Samantha's home life and all of her hobbies. And I hope the information I gave you towards how to better help her at home is useful. Thank you. I'm excited for the rest of the year.